No matter how terribly you lived your life, every prisoner on death row gets to pick one last meal. It can be as extravagant or as simple as you want, but the choice is completely yours. Of course, we're dealing with quite a few crazed individuals, so why would we possibly think their meals would be traditional? Here are 10 of the most bizarre last meals ever by death row inmates. Number 10. Stephen Michael Woods Jr. Stephen Woods was sentenced to death after a jury convicted him of capital murder of young drug dealer and his wife. Woods' criminal case was reported locally and internationally. His final motion for a stay was denied on September 2, 2011. 11 days later, he was executed by lethal injection. He had a crazy last meal request, which is as follows: 2 pounds of bacon, large 4-meat pizza, 4 fried chicken breasts, 2 drinks each of Mountain Dew, Pepsi, root beer and sweet tea, 2 pints of ice cream, 5 chicken fried steaks, 2 hamburger with bacon, fries and a dozen garlic bread sticks with marinara on the side. On number 9, we have John Wayne Gacy. Serial killer John Wayne Gacy was put to death in Illinois by lethal injection at the age of 52. The killer clown was sentenced to death for the rape and 33 counts of murder. For his last meal, Gacy requested 12 fried shrimp, a bucket of original recipe KFC, French fries and a pound of strawberries. One fun fact: prior to being convicted, Gacy managed 3 KFC outlets. Before moving forward, we would like to request you to please subscribe our channel for more videos. On number 8, Ronnie Lee Gardner. Ronnie Lee Gardner received a death penalty for murder in 1985 and was executed by a firing squad by the state of Utah in 2010. Gardner's attorney said that his client did not want to attract attention and simply preferred to die this way because in 1985, Gardner himself famously quoted, "I would prefer to die of old age, Your Honor, but if that ain't possible, I'll take the firing squad." For his last meal, Gardner requested steak, a lobster tail, apple pie, vanilla ice cream, and to eat it all while watching The Lord of Rings. On number 7, Robert Elton Harris. Dear viewers, Robert Elton Harris was executed by gas chamber in 1992 for the 1978 murders of 2 teenage boys in San Diego. His execution was the first in the state of California since 1967. For his last meal, he wanted a 21-piece bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, 2 large Domino's pizza, ice cream, a bag of jelly beans and 6-pack of Pepsi and a pack of Camel cigarettes. Robert's execution is specifically remembered for his choice of final words. He said, "You can be a king or a street sweeper, but everybody dances with the Grim Reaper." This is the line for the 1991 film Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Number 6 on our list is Ronnie Threadgill. Ronnie Threadgill was put to death in Texas by lethal injection at the age of 40. He was sentenced to death for murder. For his last meal, Threadgill requested baked chicken, mashed potatoes with country gravy, vegetables, sweet peas, bread, tea, water, and punch. However, Texas abolished last meal choice in 2011, so Threadgill was just given the same meal as everyone else in his unit. Number 5 on our list is Victor Harry Figo. Victor Figo was tried and convicted for murder in federal court for his crimes. He was sentenced to death by hanging. Victor submitted an appeal which was denied. At that point, only President John F. Kennedy could have commuted the death sentence. Iowa's then governor, Harold Huff, a death penalty opponent, along with Victor's attorney, contacted Kennedy to request clemency of Victor. Kennedy thought that the crime was so brutal that he denied their request. He was the last federal inmate executed in the United States before the moratorium of the death penalty following Furman v. Georgia criminal case. He was also the last person to be executed in Iowa. After Victor's death, it would be nearly 40 years until the next federal execution, that of Timothy McVeigh for the Oklahoma City bombing. Victor was put to death at the age of 28. For his last meal, he requested a single olive with the pit in it. Photographer Henry Hargreaves captured this haunting image quoting, "You know, it is so simple, beautiful and kind of final. It's like a full stop at the end of his life." Number 4 on our list is Ricky Ray Rector. Ricky Ray Rector was put to death in Arkansas by lethal injection at the age of 42. He was sentenced to death for 2 counts of murder. For his last meal, Rector requested and received a steak, fried chicken, cherry Kool-Aid, and pecan pie. Rector left the pie on the side of the tray, telling the corrections officers who came to take him to the execution chamber that he was saving it for later. The slice of pecan pie was not disposed of until Rector had been executed. Number 3 on our list is Timothy McVeigh. Timothy McVeigh was the American terrorist behind the Oklahoma City bombing, which killed 168 people and 680 others were injured. The bombing was the deadliest act of terrorism within the United States prior to the September 11 attacks. Until date, it remains the deadliest act of domestic terrorism in the United States. He was put to death in Indiana by lethal injection at the age of 33. He was sentenced to death for 168 counts of murder. For his last meal, McVeigh requested 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream. Number 2. Angel Neve Diaz. Angel Diaz was put to death in Florida by lethal injection at the age of 55. He was sentenced to death for murder, kidnapping, and armed robbery, though he maintained his innocence until his death. Diaz declined a last meal, so he was served the regular prisoner meal, which he declined to eat as well. Number 1 on our list is Ted Bundy. Chris Hagan, Kenneth Misner, Officer Roxland, Richard Burton, and Rolf Miller. These were some of the names used by the Theodore Robert Bundy, one of the most notorious serial killer in American history, was put to death in Florida by electric chair at the age of 43. He was sentenced to death for rape, prison escape, and more than 35 counts of murder. Bundy declined a special meal, so was given the traditional last meal: steak cooked medium rare, eggs over easy, hash browns, toast with butter and jelly, milk and juice. So these were some of the last meals of death row prisoners and speak volumes about nature of the inmate. So which one do you think was the strangest? Let me know in the comment section.